Hello everyone. As you may have figured out by now, I'm Daphne Rickson and I'm your professor for this course. I'm pleased to welcome you to Integrative Accounting 6652, and the purpose of this brief video is just to give you an overview of what you need to do for your first assignment and also what you need to do to prepare for the first class. Just to move along, first of all, the assignment, I'll deal with that one first. Kaboom Incorporated case, so that's worth 15%. It is a group case, and of course all the students are expected to make an effective contribution. One point that I really want to stress here that really will have an impact on your ability to master the CPA part of this program is that before you meet as a group, it's absolutely essential that each person in the group reviews the case and independently prepares your own draft response. So you don't have to type it up or anything. You can just have notes written for your response to the case. So there's a couple of reasons for that. One is you don't get into groupthink. That's the obvious one, because what happens in a group, there's always a dominant character who says, I think this is what we should do, and everybody else chimes in, sure. That will not give you the best response to the case. But more importantly, what it does is it doesn't give you the experience of actually addressing a full case on your own as an individual, which of course you're required to do for the program. So the question might be, well, why don't we do it all as an individual case? So why we do group cases really is to give you an opportunity to think critically. So you've got your response prepared, then you hear what your colleagues have to say and what they think the approach should be, then you discuss it and come up with a joint solution. So you'll end up with a better response at the end of the day, but it also helps you recognize that there are many diverse views regarding how to address a business problem, and it helps you think more critically in assessing which might be the best approach to take. And obviously there's many approaches you can take to problems. There's not just one solution. So that's the reason why we take this approach. So again, draft up your response individually, just rough notes, before you meet as a group. I have no way to know if you do that, but I strongly encourage you to do it. Your success in the program really depends on you taking that approach. So submit it via Brightspace by Sunday evening at 11:30 p.m. and only submit one case per group, of course. So the next thing I want to talk about on Kaboom Incorporated, in preparing the report, you should address the following. Review the problems with the existing information system that they're using to create their budget, and analyze each issue. So for each issue, discuss the weakness, analyze the implication of the weakness, and provide recommendations. So do those 3 steps for each issue that you identify. Continuing on with the instructions for Kaboom, the next thing you want to do is analyze Kaboom's performance using ratios that are relevant to the company. So there is a document there on Brightspace that provides the formulas for the various ratios, and I'm sure you've covered this anyway in undergrad and in other courses in the program. So it's up to you to select the ratios that are relevant. So calculate for each ratio, do the calculation, then discuss the implication of each ratio in terms of explaining the company's performance. That's item 2. Then lastly, item 3 is prepare the revised 2018 operations budget. So create a spreadsheet in Excel, put in the existing budget, then do your revised budget. So on that spreadsheet, you need to make sure for the revised budget, you are clearly identifying your assumptions and also some notes explaining the revisions, why you're revising certain numbers. So all of the notes explaining the revisions should be at the bottom of the spreadsheet. And make sure the spreadsheet is readable. Don't make the font size so small that I can't see it. As you can see, I'm wearing glasses these days because my vision is not so good right now. So finally, we'll look at the report format. So the report should be prepared in Word, and as I've mentioned, your calculations are going to be in your Excel spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet will be an appendix to your main document. All the supporting calculations must be identified in the spreadsheet as notes, and I'm not going to be looking at your spreadsheets, looking in your cells, looking at your formulas. Everything has to be visible to me. And the next thing, of course, is when you're explaining doing your analysis, explaining your recommendations in the report, you need to refer in the report to the appendix. You will find an appendix such and such, whatever the calculations are. Then the report should be written in a formal business writing style. So make sure you don't write the way you speak. For example, something is not like a hot topic. Casual wording is not really appropriate in a business report. And that's not to say that it has to be flowery language. It's just straightforward, good English, good grammar, sentence structure, spelling, and so on. Where applicable, you don't have to use paragraphs. If you're listing off something, it's perfectly fine to use a list of bullets, points that you want to make. So finally, save the full report, both the Word document and the Excel spreadsheet, as one PDF document, and making sure the font size is around font size, say 12, something that's readable, and you upload that to Brightspace on the Sunday, the 17th at 11:30. So in addition to preparing this assignment, and of course I should say I will have your assignments marked and feedback to you before the first class. So that way in class we can do a little debrief and discuss anything, any issues that you might have. So in addition to the assignment, other preparation you need to do for the first day of class is, of course, make sure you read the course outline and the agenda for the first day. And you need to be prepared for 2 cases at an Acct post office. And here I want you to read the case, draft your notes, your response as an individual response, and then I will randomly select some students to start off our discussion as to discussing the issues in the case and what they would recommend to deal with those issues. So it's not a hand-in, it's not a group, but you need to have rough notes prepared so you're able to discuss this in class. And the next case that we'll be doing in the first class is Ace Women's Clothing. And again, the same idea, make sure you read it in advance, have your own individual notes prepared as to what you do to respond to the situation. And again, it's not a group activity. There's no issue if you want to bounce an idea off a friend or whatever, but it's just an individual activity. However, unlike the post office case, this one we will be giving you time in class to then work as a group and come up with a more formal solution to the case. So it's important before you meet as a group to do the individual work, and we want you to make sure that as an individual you know how to address all aspects of the case. So when you get in a group, you need to think critically, hear what others have to say as to what they think the issues are and how it should be addressed, and then hopefully come to an agreement as to what you think the approach should be. So you'll be given 1 hour in class then to finalize your responses to the case, and I'll randomly select a group to start the full class discussion. So that's it for this very brief overview of what's expected for your first assignment and what to do to prepare for the first class. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Email is the best way to reach me, and that email address is right there in the course syllabus, and I'll certainly get back to you as soon as I can. If you have any questions, detailed questions about the remainder of the course in terms of what's required after day one, not to worry, I will be spending some time in the first class going over the syllabus in more detail in the first class. So I look forward to meeting all of you, and good luck with preparing your first case.